Once we've created a list, remember that the important thing to remember about the list container compared to some of the other containers is that the items in the list have a sense of order. And items in the list are accessed via their index, which starts at 0 in Python. So if I want to access the second element, I would use index 1. So I get back 73 here. The interesting thing about Python and indexing lists is that negative numbers are also acceptable. So if I want to access the second to last element, I can do that using a -2 index. Now, one of the nice things about Python is it does bounds checking. So there is no element at index position 8. So if I try this, I'm going to get an index error, and Python will politely tell me that my list index is out of range. So I've tried to do something illegal, and that happens both with positive and negative numbers that are out of range. A common scenario is that I may need to iterate over the items in a list. So for example, if I wanted to loop over the values in my list A, I would do a for loop, and each time through the loop, value is going to take on the next item value in the list. And I could do something like print the value incremented by 2, and I would get the correct results here. But note that in this case, I'm not actually modifying the original values in the list because I'm working with a copy of the values. If I wanted to actually modify the values in the list, I would want to do something like this, where now I'm using an index to access the list and actually make a modification to the value. So now if we look at our list, the values at each position have been incremented by the value 2 that we specified. We can also do slicing operations on lists. So instead of accessing a single value, I can get a range of values. So now B is a subset of the original list A, and it's important to note that I can make modifications to this new list B, but those changes are not reflected in the original list A because B is a copy of the subset of A, not a reference to the subset of A.